Okay, I'm going to talk quickly about distance in midpoint formula. Midpoint formula is to find the point in the middle of 2 points. Okay, I'm just going to do a little practice problem here. So we have 5, 2, 4, 6, 8. So you can physically find the midpoint. I just want you guys to be able to understand. And 7, 2. So I have my little segment here. And it says, what's the midpoint of that segment? I can kind of locate this physically right here, which looks like it's going to be 6, 5. So midpoint formula is trying to find the middle of these 2 points, and that'll become more relevant as we kind of move on. So where did this value come from? Okay, so we have 5 and 7, and we have 6. Well, 6 is in the middle of 5 and 7. And then where did the 5 come from? Well, what number is in the middle of 8 and 2? And how do you find those middle numbers? If I told you what's in the middle of 150, well, you guys have to think, oh, well, it's 75. Well, how do you figure that out? How do you figure out the middle? You add and divide by 2. So sure enough, where did the 6 come from? Well, if I add my x's, 5 plus 7, and divide by 2, I'm going to get 12 divided by 2, which is your 6. And then for my 5 here, well, how did the 5 come about? Well, that's going to be 8 plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, because you want to find the average. Is how you find the middle of something, which is 10 divided by 2, which is our 5 up here. So midpoint formula, it's just going to be one of those things. It's just in the middle. It's x2 plus x1 divided by 2. Sorry. There we go. And you have y2 plus y1 divided by 2. And honestly, the order doesn't matter. So this is going to give you the x value of the point that's in the middle. This is going to give you the y value of the point that's in the middle. So my first example, the endpoints of R are RS are R and S. So what am I going to do to find the midpoint? I'm going to add my x's, 1 plus 4 divided by 2. And then I'm going to add my y's. Negative 3 plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, 1 plus 4 is 5, so this would be 5 halves. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1 half. And that's an acceptable answer. You could also write 2 and 1 half and negative 1 half, or the decimals, and any of these would be great answers. And then you're done. Okay, so number 2, the second example is a little bit tricky. So in this case, you're being given the midpoint and you only have one endpoint, you have to find the other endpoint. I'm going to call that other endpoint xy. So I know if I was paying attention to the formula would be x, the point that I don't know, plus the x value of the point I do know divided by 2. And I know that my y value would be the y value that I don't know plus the y value that I do know divided by 2. Okay. What's interesting about this is I know what this is equal to. I know this one is equal to, when I take my x value and add 4 and divide by 2, I get negative 1. So I'm going to set this up as an equation. It's going to be x plus 4 divided by 2 is equal to negative 1. So I multiply each side by 2. That's going to be x plus 4 is equal to negative 2. Subtract 4, x is equal to negative 6. And then for my y values, I know that this y plus 4 divided by 2, I know what I get. I know what the middle is. I know that the middle is negative 2. So I'm going to say y plus 4 divided by 2 is equal to negative 2. I multiply by 2, y plus 4 is equal to negative 4. Subtract 4, y is equal to negative 8. And so my midpoint, you just need to make sure you write the whole thing, is going to be negative 6, negative 8. So that's one way to do it is algebraically. Just set up your equation, what you don't know, and then solve for your midpoint. Number 3, it says if a line segment has these endpoints, what are the coordinates of the midpoint? Well, it doesn't matter what you're given. You just add your x's and divide by 2. So in this case, it's going to be 3x plus 5 plus x minus 1 divided by 2. That's going to be my x value. And my y value is going to be 3y minus y. So, or 3y plus negative y, excuse me. Which ends up being minus anyway, I know. So 3x plus 1x, that's going to be 2x. 5 minus 1 is 4 divided by 2. 3 minus 1y is 2y divided by 2. And the last thing you want to do is you want to simplify. When you simplify with a fraction like this is like distributive property. You have to simplify here, and you have to simplify or divide out there. So 2 goes into 2 once, so I'm left with 1x or plain x, and 2 goes into negative 4, negative 2 times. 2 goes into 2 once, and so I'm left with y. So my answer is 1x or x minus 2 comma y. Okay? And that's just how you would do midpoint formula.